and began firing at the person he mistakenly believed was Clinton. I watched him place it between the bars of the fence, said corrections officer trainee Kenneth Allen Davis, and he just opened fire. Running back and forth along the fence as he fired, Duran quickly emptied a clip of 30 rounds at his intended victim as bystanders scattered in panic. 5 bullets hit the mansion's 4-foot-thick sandstone wall, and 3 shattered a window and chipped the stone of the press briefing room near the west wing. No one was injured. When Duran stopped to insert another 30-round clip, a bystander, security expert Michael Rakowski, tackled him from behind as the gunman tried to reload his rifle. I thought, I'm probably not going to get a better opportunity to tackle him, he said. So I did. As they struggled on the sidewalk, 2 other bystanders joined Rakowski and helped him to subdue Duran before uniformed Secret Service officers arrived. Duran fired at least 29 rounds before he was subdued. As he was being handcuffed by Secret Service agents, Duran said, "I wish you had shot me." President Clinton was watching a televised football game on the opposite side of the White House, unaware of the shooting.
Hey everyone, Scott here. One more brief word from our sponsors.
During their investigation of Duran's attack, Secret Service agents impounded his brown pickup near the White House and found one of the rifles he had purchased en route to Washington, several boxes of ammunition, a nerve gas antidote, a handwritten document with the heading Last Will and Words, an order form for the book Hitman, and several books about out-of-body experiences. They also found a number of items that clearly revealed his intention to assassinate Clinton, including a letter in which he had written, "Can you imagine a higher moral calling than to destroy someone's dreams with one bullet?" There was also a road atlas on which he had written, "Kill the Prez," and a cover torn from a telephone book that bore a picture of President Clinton with a circle drawn around his head and an X on his face. Duran was charged with attempting to assassinate President Clinton. He pleaded not guilty and mounted an insanity defense, claiming that he was trying to save the world by destroying an alien mist connected by an umbilical cord to an alien in the Colorado mountains. He also claimed to be incited by the ultra-conservative talk show host Chuck Baker, who spoke on air about armed revolution and cleansing the government. But the jury wasn't buying it. In April 1995, after deliberating nearly 5 hours, jurors convicted Duran of trying to assassinate President Clinton. They rejected the insanity defense, and he was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison. U.S. District Judge Charles Ritchie said, "Such crimes cannot be tolerated in a free society." Before imposing the sentence, Ritchie read parts of a letter that he had received from Ronald K. Noble, a Treasury Department official with supervisory authority over the Secret Service. The semi-automatic rifle shots fired by Duran, Noble's letter said, marked the first shooting directed at the White House in over 150 years. Noble told Ritchie that Duran's actions were an assault on all people of the United States, as well as the president. Duran's shooting spree and the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing atrocity, committed by Timothy McVeigh, prompted Clinton to tighten security around the White House, including closing a 2-block stretch of Pennsylvania Avenue to vehicular traffic. He was disappointed that such measures were necessary. "I felt that on occasion, giving in to the security requirements did isolate me from the public," Clinton said. "After a man with an assault weapon shot up the White House, the Secret Service asked me to stop running in the mall. So I did, but I hated it because it was my one daily contact with ordinary citizens." So, despite having been impeached and receiving low public approval ratings of his personal character, Clinton left office with the highest average job approval rating of any president in the 20th century. His popularity didn't help his vice president Al Gore, who lost the 2000 election to George W. Bush, but he himself remained personally popular many years after his presidency. All right, well, that's all within our examination of presidential assassination attempts during the tenure of Bill Clinton. We're moving to the 21st century now, when technology is really changing the game. The FBI has to do monitoring of the internet, threats against the president, to suss out whether they're credible or not credible. We're also moving into different ideological periods where there's more polarization between people on different sides of the political spectrum. And with the election of Barack Obama, the first African American to be elected president of the United States, when he was elected, there were many questions about how safe he would be. Because he was the first non-white president, this brings racist organizations like neo-Nazis or the Ku Klux Klan out of the woodwork. Would he be targeted on a much higher level than previous presidents? These are questions that were swirling around, and we're going to look into these questions and see whether he was targeted more than other presidents, or if he was targeted the same, but simply by different types of people than a Clinton or a Reagan or a JFK. So we're going to wrap up the series on assassination attempts against presidents and look at the presidency of Barack Obama in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the History Unplugged podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show to get your daily dose of all things history related, from ancient Greece to the Cold War. We'll see you next time at the History Unplugged podcast.